The kettlebell swing is a movement that combines a lot of strength, power, and a ton of core stability. To set up for the kettlebell swing, we're going to start by learning the hike. So remember all of the patterning that we've done with your deadlift? We're basically going to take your deadlift and speed it up, make it super powerful. So if our deadlift was here, hinge, shoulders stay packed, and I stand up with the bell, the kettlebell swing is going to be a super fast deadlift. Same movement patterns though. So I'm going to take about half a step back from the bell. I'm still going to hinge and get into that same deadlift position, and I'm going to tilt the bell towards me. This allows me to rock back and make sure that my center of gravity is here instead of up and over the bell. You should see that my shoulders are going to be above my hips and my hips above my knees. I see a lot of people try and hike the bell with their butt and shoulders in the same line, and they end up tipping forward like this. You don't want to tip forward. You want to keep those shoulders in those sockets so that we can use our lats to push the bell behind us for our kettlebell hike. So I'm in my deadlift position, I'm hinged, I get my shoulders down and back, bell is tilted, and I can hike it back behind my butt. Once you've practiced your hike a few times and you feel comfortable getting that bell loaded back behind your butt, you're ready to stand up with it. It's important to get a good hike because that's loading your first swing. So I'm going to get into my hike position, butt down, shoulders down and back. After my hike, I'm going to stand up with the bell and have super snappy hips. Hike. And park. So when you start off, it's called a hike, and when you stop, it's called a park. You can see that when I hike it, I'm snapping my hips and locking out in this tall standing plank. That's why it's so important to have your core be nice and strong, because up at the top of your swing, you want to be locked out and rooted into the ground. So I'm really focused on my feet being rooted into the ground. I'm squeezing my glutes, squeezing my quads, keeping my ribs down and my shoulders down and back up at the top of my swing. I hold this position as the bell floats back down to me until it almost hits me. Then I hinge. You want to make sure that your bell is loaded into your core. And if I hinge too early, now I'm leaking this energy and not loading into my core. So it is a waiting game. You have to wait until it's loaded and then hinge and get that bell back behind your butt before you have super snappy hips to snap and then let the bell float off of you. Another common misconception, or something that I see when people are swinging the kettlebell, is that they try to pull it out of the hole. So instead of using their hips to snap and let the bell float out, they try pulling it up. The kettlebell swing is not a pulling motion. It's all in your hips, so that we're loading the hips and allowing the hips and glutes to do most of that work to snap and let that bell float. So again, it'll look like this. Get into my hike, shoulders down and back, load and snap those hips. One last point, if you're watching yourself in a mirror, you can also see where the bell is passing back through as you're swinging. You want the bell to stay above your knees. The bell goes in between the triangle. So I see a lot of people hinge too soon and leak that energy, which will make the bell go below your knees. Stay locked out, keep that core engaged, shoulders down and back, until that bell is almost right into you, and then hinge. That will keep the bell up above your knees. Are not comfortable with the kettlebell swing, you can always take a step back and do your kettlebell deadlift, which is here. It's the same movement pattern, or your goblet clean, which is working on that hip snap and that hip drive that you need for your kettlebell swing. So either of those two, the goblet clean or the deadlift, can be substituted for your kettlebell swing while you're doing your workout.